Gravel bike or hardtail, one drop bar, one flat bar, and a war in every comment section over which one actually does it all. Here is the ugly truth nobody selling you either one wants to admit. For most riders, one of these is the wrong bike, and it might be the one hanging in your garage right now. So let me back up, because to see how close they have gotten, you have to see where each one started. The hardtail is the old soul here. It is the original mountain bike shape, a hard frame at the back, a suspension fork up front. Born in the 1980s when people started bombing down fire roads on modified beach cruisers and needed something that would survive it. Flat bar, fat tires, built to take a hit. The gravel bike is the young one. It really only became its own thing in the 2010s, and it did not appear from nowhere. It is what happens when you take a cyclocross race bike, relax the geometry so it stops trying to kill you on a 4-hour ride, add room for bigger tires, and tell people they can ride it anywhere. Drop bar, road blood, adventure marketing, two different parents, two different decades. And here's the part the marketing skips. They have been converging ever since. Modern gravel racing now has riders showing up on flat bar hardtails because they are faster on the rough stuff, and gravel bikes keep growing more capable off-road every season. Now the real riding difference, the stuff you feel in your hands and your spine in the first 10 minutes. Start with the cockpit. A drop bar gives you multiple hand positions and a lower, more aerodynamic tuck, which is gold on long, smooth days and into a headwind. A flat bar gives you leverage and control, the wide, planted steering you want when the trail gets steep and technical and things are happening fast. Then the suspension. Most gravel bikes are rigid, or they have a little give in the frame and the big tires, and that is it. A hardtail has a real suspension fork up front, usually 100 millimeters of travel or more, soaking up roots and rock ledges that would rattle the fillings out of a gravel bike. On smooth ground, that fork is dead weight. On rough ground, it is the difference between riding and getting bucked off. And the geometry, which is where the numbers get honest. A gravel bike sits at a head angle around 70 to 72 degrees, fairly steep, quicker steering, calm enough for loose gravel, but still eager. A modern trail hardtail is way slacker, down around 64 to 66 degrees, and that slack front end is what keeps you from going over the bars when the ground drops away beneath you. The gravel bike also carries a low bottom bracket, which plants it beautifully on smooth surfaces, but clips your pedals on rocky trails. Tires tell the same story. A gravel bike runs somewhere between 35 and 50 millimeters of tire. A hardtail starts around a 2.25-inch tire, which is about 57 millimeters, and climbs to 2.4 or wider. More air, more grip, more cushion. Add it all up and the honest verdict writes itself. On rough, rooty, rocky single track, the hardtail wins, and it is not close. On smooth fire roads, canal paths, and pavement, the gravel bike is quicker and more efficient every time. Neither one is better. They are built for different ground. But here is where it gets interesting, and where that convergence stops being a theory and becomes something you can measure with a ruler. Tire clearance. For years, the dividing line was simple. Skinny tires meant gravel, fat tires meant mountain bike. That line is dissolving. A batch of new gravel frames now clear tires around 58 to 61 millimeters, and some of them will happily swallow a 2.25-inch mountain bike tire. That is not a gravel tire anymore. That is squarely in hardtail country. Now let me give you the thing almost nobody says out loud, the kind of thing you only learn after you have actually built these bikes. That clearance number on the spec sheet is optimistic every time. Brands measure it with a clean, dry tire, no mud on one specific rim. In the real world, once you add a little buffer for mud and grit, your true clearance is usually 3 to 5 millimeters tighter than what is printed. So when a brand tells you the frame fits a 50 millimeter tire, treat that as a hard ceiling, not a promise. because a packed muddy tire rubbing the frame will stop you dead on a wet ride. Believe the ruler, not the brochure. And that is a good place to pause for a second, because we are about a third of the way in, and so far this has mostly been the stuff experienced riders half know already. What comes next is where it actually gets uncomfortable, because the thing that truly decides this is not the bike at all. It is the ground under your tires and the money in your pocket. Quick thing before we get into that. If any of this is useful, hit subscribe. It genuinely helps, and subscribers do seem to end up on the right bike for them. Right back into it. Let's talk money, because this is where a lot of minds actually get made up. At the entry end, the hardtail is the cheaper door in. You can get a genuinely good beginner hardtail for somewhere around $600 to $1,000. Think J. Tal Un, the Decathlon Rock Rider, Cube, Cannondale, at the value end. Solid, reliable, ready for real trails. A proper entry gravel bike tends to start higher, more like $1,000 to $2,000, something like the specialized D-Verge at the bottom of the range, running Shimano cues, shifting. But here is the part's truth that cuts through the price noise. The gravel group set everyone talks about, Shimano GRX, is mostly mountain bike blood anyway. The GRX rear mech is basically a repurposed XT mountain bike derailleur, and the more affordable versions pair 105 level shifters with a D or A rear mech straight off the mountainside of the catalog. So a lot of the time, whichever way you go, you are buying nearly the same shifting hardware in a different costume. That has a nice side effect. Parts are everywhere, and service is easy, because it is almost all Shimano. Just know the trade-off if you buy direct to consumer to save money. There may be no shop to walk into when something creaks, so if you cannot turn a hex key, that discount is not really a discount. And do not buy either of these expecting to make your money back. Bikes do not hold their value. You buy them to ride, not to flip. So, what do the people who actually wrench on these say when no customer is listening? A few honest things. For a nervous beginner, the hardtail is usually the friendlier bike. That slack front end, the suspension fork, the fat, grippy tires, and a dropper post on a lot of the modern ones, they all add up to a bike that stays calm when you get it wrong. A gravel bike, loaded up with bags and pointed down something rough, gets twitchy and nervous in a way that punishes mistakes. And that famous gravel pitch, the one bike that does everything. It is half true. A gravel bike does a lot of things well. It does almost nothing perfectly. It is a brilliant compromise, and compromise is the right word. If your riding is genuinely all over the map, that compromise is a feature. If your riding is mostly one thing, a bike built for that one thing will always feel better underneath you. Which brings us to the only question that was ever going to settle this. Not which bike is better. Where do you actually ride? Because remember the whole point here. It is the terrain that picks the bike, not the badge on the bar. So here is the honest verdict, sorted by the rider you actually are. If your world is fire roads, canal paths, gravel double track, road riding with the odd rough shortcut, mixed surface all-day epics, or loaded bike packing across varied ground, the gravel bike is your bike. It is faster, more efficient, more comfortable over distance, and it covers the widest spread of ground of anything on two wheels. If your world has roots, rocks, drops, ruts, real technical single track, or you are a beginner who just wants to feel stable and safe while you learn, the hardtail is your bike, comfortably. It will go places a gravel bike simply cannot, and it will forgive you while it does. And if you are honestly somewhere in the middle, torn, one bike only, then use this rule. Pick the bike that matches the worst terrain you will regularly ride, not the best. The gravel bike handles easy trails far worse than the hardtail handles smooth roads, so the hardtail is the safer, one-bike answer if any real trails are in your week. If you pushed me for my own money, for the largest number of everyday riders, the ones on smooth paths, light gravel, and commutes, I would put them on the gravel bike and never look back. But that is my terrain talking. Yours might say something completely different, and that is the whole point. So, the ugly truth, the one from the very start. You were never really choosing between two kinds of bike. You were choosing between two kinds of ground, and somewhere along the way the marketing convinced you it was about the machine. It never was. Fit beats brand, terrain beats badge, and like the old riders say, in the end, it is the meat in the seat, not the bike. So tell me down in the comments, drop bar or flat bar? And more importantly, what is the ground you actually ride most? That is the real answer, and I read every one. Now, if you want the perfect follow-up to this one, I have got it waiting for you. There is a video on your screen right now on the vintage mountain bikes worth holding on to, the handful that people genuinely regret ever selling. It is the perfect companion to everything we just talked about, so do not go anywhere. Just click the video showing on the screen right now, and I will see you in there.